Welcome back, and of course we have to start with those 5th-ranked University of Minnesota Duluth women Bulldogs as they welcome the St. Thomas Tommies into AMSOIL Arena after last night's 3-0 win. St. Thomas matching the PWHL champs with their purple jerseys the same night the Walter Cup made it to the arena. But the Bulldogs are looking golden with senior transfer Tindra Holm getting her first start at home for UMD. We start in the middle of the first period as Tova Henderson sends the puck past the goal and off the boards. Daniel Bergen scoops it and says, "Oh, let me sneak it right past you." Finds the right corner of the net. Bergen picks up her first goal of the season and the Dogs' first of the night as they take the 1-0 lead into the second period. Now in the second period, it's Olivia Wallen trying to dump it to Berggren, but Danny Storm was taking notes and she snags one of her 30 saves and keeps the Tommies in this one. No scoring for either side in the second, so we hit fast forward. Zoe Kroc finds Devin Millwater milling around on open ice and makes this one look easy with a flamethrower past the Tommies. UMD would only need the one insurance goal as they protect the 2-goal lead for the final 10 minutes, thanks in large part to Holm, who picks up her first shutout for Duluth as they send the Tommies packing with no goals this weekend.